Okay, so this is a continuation of my previous tutorial. I stopped because I didn't want it getting too long. So here we're learning how to make a simple template for applications, and what I forgot to mention last time is that this setup is usually makes it easier to manage your own memory inside your program. So anyways, so now what we're going to do is we're actually going to add some more functions to the class app. So we should go back to our app.h, and what we're going to do is we're going to put some void functions. We're going to put a void init for initialization and a void cleanup. Now these are two that kind of work in conjunction with each other. So initialization would initialize stuff, and then cleanup would clean it up, obviously. So we can go over here. In here we can go add new file, rename the two to init dot C++, and rename this one to cleanup.C++. In init.C++, we want to go and actually include app.h, and we want to have our void app. We always want to use the app space, or the namespace, and I'm forgetting what we're adding, init. So then we go init. And in here, this is where we'd actually add our code for initializing stuff. And here we pretty much do the same thing. Include app.h void cleanup. Sorry, void app namespace app cleanup. So and we add our code there for cleanup. So now we have two functions here for init and cleanup. So we can go back to our app.cpp and add those. And we go init, and then cleanup. So now we have something that initializes variables and cleans up this memory from those variables. So if we have dynamic memory, we can initialize a space in here for the arrays and then clean it up in here. Now you might be asking, where do you put these, where you declare the variables or the arrays? You declare them in here, in this private right here. You can put stuff like char, and you make them pointers, and you name it something like, I don't know, name, just like that. And you go to init, name equals new char 9 or 20. And you can go to cleanup and then delete it. So that's a simple way of initializing stuff and then cleaning it up. So you always remember when you initialize something, usually with a dynamic array, you'd always want to clean it up. If it does need to be cleaned up, then you don't need to put it in here, but it's important that you fix your memory. So that's how it makes it a little bit easier to manage your memory. Now another thing you'd want to add in your app here is we're going to go up here into app.h, and in this we're actually going to add a boolean bool running, and in here in the constructor we're actually going to make the value running equals true. Down here we're going to have something while it's running. You do the stuff that you have to do, right? So while it's running, it continuously runs. So first it initializes it, runs, and then cleans up. Now obviously you need a way to turn running to false, so I'm just going to go like this right now, just so I don't have a continuous loop if I run it by accident. But we can go back to our app.cpp, or not, app.h I mean, and we can add more functions in here. Stuff like void loop, or update, I find is more appropriate, and void render. So update would be something like updates variables, updates states, and then render would render those states out to the screen or something, or output them, or whatever. This kind of follows a kind of a game setup where it initializes, updates stuff, renders the stuff onto the screen, and once you quit, it cleans it all up. We could also add something like void events, but we're going to ignore that. We just don't want that right now. So since we added these two, we're going to want to add again stuff like this. So we're just going to go new file, add those. Render.c++. We name this one as update.c++, and we're going to add the include app.h and void app render. I'm going to go over here, do the same thing in the update. So in this one you'd actually put like update variable states, stuff like that. Here, render outputs, clean up memory, allocate memory, the init, and yeah. So right now, all this is done without having to include anything that's external, other than obviously these guys over here. So I'm going to go and I'm just going to compile this, clean up the errors. Oh, there weren't any errors, so I'm just going to run it. And I don't know if you saw it, but it just flashed there and it ran through the whole code. Now we can go and debug it, so I'm going to create the debug code stuff, recompile it so it creates the debug stuff. And we're going to go into render, clean up, put a debug thing there, go to init, put one there, debug, debug it. Apparently it doesn't have any debugging information. No. Apparently it's not letting me debug it. I don't know why. Whatever. So what we can do right now is include. Actually, we're going to end this for now, and we'll come back to it in another tutorial.